Hi Prescott Pumas, welcome back. More stories today. Hooray! Today I have No Bad News, written by Kenneth Cole and John Rubarch. This book was actually given to me by Miss Brooks. She let me borrow it, so I have to give it back to her. But this is a really good one. This is a really good book about finding happiness. I like that one. I like it a lot. Thanks, Miss Brooks, for showing that to me. This one is called I Got It. It's by David Weisner. Ooh, I got it. And then the last one we have is I Walk with Vanessa. This is a story about a simple act of kindness. So we have a couple books about kindness today. So, kindness and happiness. Let's see what they are about. No Bad News by Kenneth Cole with photographs by John Rubarch. Rubarch? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Rubarch. Every day, Marcus's first words were, "Good morning, Mom." And today, like every day, his mother replied, "Well, good morning, son." Marcus could already smell the great breakfast that his mom had fixed. It was his favorite: scrambled eggs, toast, and sausage. "Hey, Mom," Marcus mumbled with his mouth full. "Don't we go to Jackson's barber shop today for my haircut?" Getting a haircut was something that they had always done together, but today his mother said, "Honey, I have some things to do, so why don't you go without me?" Although Marcus had never gone by himself before, she knew he was old enough to go on his own. All morning, Marcus thought about the long walk to Jackson's barber shop. "Are you sure you don't want to go?" he asked his mom. She smiled at him and said, "You'll be fine." Then she gave him money for the haircut and a little extra for something special. So this time, he was going alone. A journey was about to begin. Marcus knew all the way to the barber shop. After all, he'd been there many times before, but without his mom by his side, he worried about walking through his neighborhood. As he headed down an alley, he remembered hearing about some of the bad stuff that had happened there late one night. It seemed all he ever heard about his neighborhood was bad news. Is that all there is around here, he thought? Only bad news? Once familiar streets were now like a strange, faraway land. I sure wish my mom was here, he thought. The morning sun was warm and bright, but the neighborhood seemed cold and dark. As Marcus got farther from his home, he began to see so much bad news. By the liquor store, he saw people drinking from large bottles wrapped in brown paper bags. Although the men were laughing, to Marcus they looked sad. "Hey, little man," one of them yelled, "can I borrow some money?" "No," Marcus replied softly. He walked faster. Man, he thought, people are even drinking bad news. Noises filled the air, but Marcus could only hear horns honking, people hollering, and police sirens blaring. All of a sudden, whoomp, Marcus was knocked to the ground. "Watch where you're going, kid," shouted an angry teenager running down the street. Slowly, Marcus picked himself up. He almost felt like crying. He knew that things didn't have to be like this. By the time he got to Jackson's barber shop, Marcus looked as low as he felt. Everyone in Marcus's neighborhood knew Mr. Jackson and went to his barber shop for their haircuts. Sometimes people would stop by just to talk or play checkers. "Well, well, look who's here," Mr. Jackson bellowed as Marcus came in. "It's my favorite customer, and it looks like he needs a haircut." "Hey," Marcus said quietly. "Get on up in this chair," said Mr. Jackson. Marcus noticed that today Mr. Jackson was treating him a little bit differently. Today, he was treating him like one of the guys. "What's up with the sad look on the face?" asked Mr. Jackson. He draped a large cloth over Marcus's small shoulders. "Your head's so low I can't cut your hair," said Mr. Jackson. Then he placed his strong hand gently under Marcus's chin to lift it and hold it steady. Click, buzz went the clippers. Mr. Kelly, who had been a truck driver before he retired, stopped his game of checkers. "Now, Marcus, I've never seen you so sad before. Why the long face?" he asked. "It must be 'cause he's gonna miss all his hair," joked Mr. Jackson. "Nah, I don't know," Marcus replied. "Come on now, Marcus. You're never like this. What's going on?" asked Desmond, Mr. Jackson's assistant. Everyone in the barbershop listened closely as Marcus began to talk about the morning's journey. Marcus sighed. "Well, on the way here, I saw a bunch of bad news. I saw junky old buildings and trash all over the place. I saw people drinking, and some kid knocked him down. Clumps of hair fell to the ground." Mr. Jackson lifted Marcus's chin higher. He said, "You're right, son. There is some bad news out there, and it just doesn't seem right. Not right at all. But there's a lot of good news around here that you're not seeing." "Really? Like what?" Marcus asked respectfully. "Hey, what about the Wilsons?" answered TK. "Both parents work hard jobs, and they still take time to be together. Now that's some good news." Miss Powell added, "You probably walked past Miss Isabel's house. She's got one of the prettiest gardens in the neighborhood. You could say she grows good news." Marcus listened as the folks in the barbershop reminded him and one another about the good news in their neighborhood. Mr. Jackson said, "Just the other day, I saw Mr. Alexander and his son repairing some old bikes. They fix them up and give them to kids in the neighborhood. You should see how happy the kids are to get those bikes. Let's not forget my nephew Kyle," Miss Powell exclaimed. "That child loves to play his trumpet. Hearing his music just makes my day." "And then there's Mr. Blake," added TK. "He's been selling ice cream for over 30 years. When I was a kid, all he had was a little cart. Now he's got his own truck." Wow, Marcus thought. What was to be a 10-minute haircut turned out to be an hour of history, laughter, and hope. Mr. Jackson spun the barber chair toward the mirror and said, "See how high your head is right now? Your chin is up and you're proudly looking ahead." "Yeah," said Marcus. "Well, once you jump off this chair, don't you let your head drop. Not one bit," instructed Mr. Jackson. "Why not?" Marcus asked. With the help of his cane, Mr. Kelly lifted himself from his chair and said, "Son, you can't see anything with your head held low, and you need to not only see the good news, you need to be the good news." The haircut was finished. As is tradition, Mr. Jackson handed the mirror to Marcus and asked, "Well, how's it look?" And to Marcus, things looked different. With the warmth of the sun on his face, Marcus began his journey home. He held his head high, and with each step he saw new sights and heard new sounds. Soon he met the Wilson family taking their morning stroll. "Good morning," they said. Marcus had walked by the Wilsons many times before and never really noticed how happy they were together. But today, it was clear. He could see they were good news. Before long, he saw more good news. Mr. Alexander and his son were fixing a bike. "Hey, Marcus, could you give us a hand?" asked Mr. Alexander. "Sure thing," Marcus replied. Noises filled the air, but now all Marcus heard were birds singing, children playing, and people laughing. Further down the street, he heard little Kyle practicing his trumpet. The notes were perfect. The notes weren't perfect, but to Marcus they sounded just fine. Good news sure is loud, he thought, grinning. And with the extra money his mother had given him, he bought himself a treat from the ice cream man, Mr. Blake. Good news never tasted so delicious. He stopped for a while to see Miss Isabel and her beautiful garden. The flowers smelled wonderful. "Here's a little something for your mother," Miss Isabel said. Marcus smiled as she placed good news right on the palm of his hand. "Thank you, ma'am," he said. Man, Marcus thought, the folks at the barber shop were right. On each block and around every corner he found more and more good news. He knew that there was still some bad news out there, but now good news was all he saw. As he came home, Marcus could hear his mother singing. He thought, what a great morning. With the journey complete, he rested on the steps thinking about all that he had learned and how much she had changed that day. And as he looked around his neighborhood, he realized there's even more good news out there, and I'm not just going to find it. I'm gonna make it. The end. No bad news. Good book. Here we go on to I Got It by David Wiesner. Wiesner? I got it. And this is a story. I wonder if this story has words. Remember we've talked about stories that don't have any words at all? Here we go. I got it! Oh. Oh. It's so close. Oh, shucks. Oh, maybe, almost. Oh, what happened? Oh no, he's shrinking. They're all trying to catch the ball and he's shrinking. Oh. What's happening now? Oh, he's climbing? He's jumping? Yep, he's jumping on their heads. Is he gonna catch it? Can he do it? Ah, he's so close. I got it. And it looks like their team won. The end. So remember we talked about this. Some books have lots of pictures and lots of words. Some books have no pictures and lots of words. Or some books have lots of words and no pictures. So this was one that had a lot of really beautiful pictures and very little words. The only words in the story were, I got it. The author told the story through the pictures. That was a good one. He was trying so hard, he almost couldn't catch the baseball. But he did it. He got it in the end. Last story for today, I Walk with Vanessa. A story about a simple act of kindness. By Kara Scott. Maybe it's another book with no words. This must be Vanessa. That's my guess. He looks angry. He's walking up to Vanessa. Oh no. I think he's yelling at her. But look, what does she see? Oh. She sees Vanessa. She's watching Vanessa go into her house. They look sad. She still looks sad. There she is waking up the next morning. Oh, or going to bed that night. They must both be getting ready for bed. Well, and here it is the next morning, getting dressed. Oh, I think she has an idea. must be Vanessa's house. Okay, there they go, walking together. Oh! All of them are walking together. Wow, look, more and more friends are coming. There they are, holding Vanessa's hand. Oh my goodness! Look at how many friends are walking. Wow. They're all walking to school together. Oh, the end. That book had 0 words in it. But could you tell what was going on in the story using the pictures? I used the pictures to help me tell you a little bit about what was going on. And it seems like somebody was a little bit mean to Vanessa. Maybe somebody bullied her. But one of her friends looked out and walked with her and just kind of was with her. And sometimes that's all you need, is just one person to be nice to you, and then everyone else will be nice to you too. Remember, we talk about this in the classroom a lot. When we work together, we are stronger together. If we're safe and we're caring and we're responsible, then that keeps us looking out for ourselves, looking out for each other, because we need each other to be strong. Good books today. I hope you enjoyed them. I did. I'm enjoying reading to you as always. Counting down the days till I say goodbye to you guys, and we will have a special goodbye video, some special stories. I have them picked out and I'm so excited to share them. But for now, we're going to keep going. I love you very much. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I miss you, and I can't wait to see you again. Alright friends, goodbye.